Well, I am a single parent,
Okay.
and it is very difficult getting to school every day and coming home and sitting down and writing that business plan,
Okay.
writing that marketing
Absolutely.
plan, and actually putting it into effect.
Okay.
How I got over that, I have my children chipping in helping.
Okay.
They're helping me. They're on the computer making flyers
Wow.
while I'm writing my business
Okay,
plan.
okay. Forget
I've
those
learned
child
how
labor
to.
laws, get those kids to work, they got to. That's wonderful. I'm sure, my kids, when they get old enough, they'll be helping too. So, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So, and they're learning, and this actually helps them learn
Mm-hmm.
how to send a good email and not all the little smiley faces,
Gotcha,
a
gotcha.
professional email.
Gotcha.
And it really has taught me in helping them at the same time. So it can be difficult trying to be everything to everyone at the same time and run a productive business.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's possible.
Yeah, and I know very well that also, and I'm sure as you expand, you'll have to bring on a whole team of people.
And that's what
'cause
I'm
you can't
looking to do.
everything. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking to do
Absolutely.
very shortly.
Absolutely.
Yes, hiring more people because that was the purpose
Yeah.
of me being an
Absolutely,
entrepreneur.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sheila, why don't you tell us also maybe about sort of your overall goals? I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing so far, but where are you going?
There are many aspects that are already in place in this brand new program, and that is we started out with creating credit courses. And so right now we have 5 credit courses. We're finishing up our 6th, which will result in a basic certificate of entrepreneurship here at city colleges. We also went through extensive faculty training. We, quite frankly, picked the best of the best faculty to be master entrepreneurship faculty. Professor Callery and many others went through extensive training to learn some of the new aspects of entrepreneurship, to incorporate that into the classroom. So once we got that set up and started inviting the students into the classroom, and then there are other elements of the program. We're looking at workshops, we're looking at competitions. One great way for the students to really understand their role in entrepreneurship and kind of get out there,
Okay.
win cash, win prizes, would be competitions. And so we're going to be creating several entrepreneurship competitions, business plan competitions, fast pitch competitions where you stand up and do an elevator pitch with an opportunity to win cash prizes plus scholarships at city colleges. We also have an outreach program in that entrepreneurship is very high touch. It requires a village. There are a lot of people that are involved in entrepreneurship. And so City Colleges with the Coleman Foundation is in a perfect position to connect with other organizations. Maybe they've got a competition, maybe they have resources. We're always looking for mentors and advisors for our students, speakers when we do workshops, judges for the competition. We're very interested in involving the community, successful entrepreneurs, graduates of our program, into the entrepreneurship program, so students like DeShonda, faculty like Professor Callery, can get that actual hands-on experience from people in our community.
And can I follow
Sure.
up on one thing that Sheila brought up? She mentioned that it's high touch, and I think we have to really separate our program from others.
Okay.
Our goal is to essentially create an applied program, not a theoretical program. So when we teach the classes, we're not just in there talking about marketing concepts per se. We're trying to
doing
teach.
it.
We're trying to teach them how to do
Right.
it. So part of our training was using different techniques in order to be able to convey this information out. Think about this for a moment. We're trying to teach someone who's never had accounting statements. And we still have to, at the end of the day, make sure that they understand those concepts. So the way we do that we use a simulation, for instance, which will be a computer simulation. So they actually have experience trying to run a business, and they start to learn how to use some of those financial statements and how to understand some of those financial concepts, even though they haven't had the basics yet.
Yeah, and even though I would imagine that they're not necessarily going to do all of that either.
No.
But
Yes.
I know this. I can tell you a quick story. I know that it's important for you to understand every aspect. My father, I had shared this before, is in the car business. Well, was in the car business, now is in McDonald's, is in hamburgers. And I have oftentimes gone to him and said, "Hey, Dad, well, I'll come work for you, but I'd like to be here, He's like, "No, you want to work for me, you're going to, in the car business, you're going to wash the cars, you're going to learn every aspect, just as McDonald's, you're going to flip burgers, that sort of thing." And so I think what you're saying is very important. People need to understand all the aspects, even if maybe your entrepreneurs are not going to be doing all those things, because ideally they would not have to do it all. But I guess they'd have to understand it.
Correct.
Ideally
And
in
I'm sorry.
time.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
In time. Often entrepreneurs start out, and perhaps you can speak to this, where you're wearing every hat, you're doing every task. What we teach the entrepreneur is find your areas of strength. And so if you're a numbers person, you're probably going to want to control the financing. If you're more of a creative and art person and those numbers are driving you crazy, once you get your business up and running, one of the first things you're going to need to do in that environment would be hire someone to work with your finances.
I totally agree with you 100%. It is very important to hire someone when you should know what your
strengths and your weaknesses,
are. If you do know what your strengths are, then you will be able to move forward. And hire someone, I do agree with that. And if you can't hire someone, then you should find a mentor. And I believe it is important that the city colleges does have mentors. And I have two wonderful teachers that I've been sitting under for the last 2 years who have been teaching me what my strengths are. Because sometimes I don't even know.
That's wonderful.
And they help me develop those strengths and point out those weaknesses.
You know, I just read a study that was done by the SBA, Small Business Association, that said there was this understanding in the past that most businesses failed. So there's something like, I'd heard the number to be like 90%.
Yes.
And that 10% of businesses succeed within like the first 4 years or something like that. But the study just showed that that number might be a little bit higher. And I was just reading how there is hope for the entrepreneur. They were saying that maybe we're a little closer to half, that half might make it and half may not. And that those that did not make it did not always sort of close or end within the first 4 years because of negative factors. Sometimes they would end because they, sold the business, did well enough, et cetera. So what I'm interested in is, if I'm a student or and I'm interested in this program, what are the pitfalls to avoid in entrepreneurship? What separates that business that succeeds from the business that fails?
I think the first thing is education.
Right. It's educational. So we don't focus so much on what the pitfalls are. The other part of this is that we have a great coalition of faculty members from the 7 colleges that came to pull us together. Our goal is to teach them how to measure their performance.
Okay.
So long before you get to the pitfall of failing, you have to be able to gauge how successful your business is.
Okay.
And so that you can make some adjustments. And that's the whole point of the applied method. Not every business is going to succeed, but back in graduate school, we used to talk about it too. Sometimes a failure is just a learning experience.
Gotcha.
And you take that to your next business opportunity. All we want them to understand is how did they get to that point.
Right.
Either how did they get to a point of success, or how did they get to the point of not exactly achieving the goal they have set.
Yeah.
And then what adjustments do they want to make going forward?
Well, no, I think you're very clearly avoiding pitfalls because you're giving the education up front, which I'm sure a lot of folks that I know who've started businesses have not necessarily had the opportunity to sit under professors for 2 years before they launch their business. And a lot of people learn by trial and error.
Yes.
And trial and error can be costly and it can be painful too.
Yes.
That's why it's important for us to offer, in addition to the educational programs, the credit classes, the non-credit classes, all of the other elements of the programming. So the business plan competition, the elevator pitch competition, the true value of this is not only do you submit your business plan, but you get feedback. DeShonda was invited to the Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame last week.
Oh, congratulations.
Where she was asked to speak to the audience and to do a 45-second elevator pitch.
Okay.
45 seconds goes quickly. I think it's a very difficult situation. You did very well. But that experience for our students, and again, the relationships that we're forming so that our students can have mentors, our students can get feedback, our students can get questioned by judges in competitions and asking them questions. The professors are asking them the questions. Why is this? What differentiates your company? Who exactly are your audiences? Who's your competition? And so it's in the business plan, but I think our teachers take it a step further and really help them hone that learning and that understanding of their business so that they can turn around and avoid those pitfalls.
Yeah.